All right, guys, this is Emmett Stallworth, the Alpha Builder. Today, I want to talk about vinyl windows, especially when you're installing vinyl windows on higher end homes, more expensive homes. Let's get into that. All right, guys, I'm the Alpha Builder, Emmett Stallworth. Um, Thanks for coming to my channel, the Alpha Builder channel. We're talking about vinyl windows today, but I want to give you guys a little backstory on vinyl. Now, the vinyl was a product, vinyl siding. It's a product that came out. I don't know the exact date that it came out, guys, but it probably may have been maybe 20 to 30 years ago when I started hearing about it. And it was a good product because you didn't have to, you know, guys, if you paint a house, if you got a regular house with wood siding, you're going to have to do maintenance on that house. You're going to have to, every so many years, you're going to have to chip the bad stuff away, chip some of the paint away. You're going to have to repaint it. And I remember that coming up. Well, my dad had to do that. So you got to do that. And then you got to seal around the windows, etc. But it came out with vinyl siding. And vinyl siding, it was the color all the way through. And it typically was a lighter color. You didn't have to paint it. Um, you didn't have to do anything to it. I mean, once you install, it was easy to install. So the labor to install it was very, very inexpensive, and it was a cheaper product. Now, mind you, when it first came out, some of the builders they installed it wrong because when they put the nails in, they hammered it as far as the nails would go, and you're not supposed. They're supposed to slide. I have another video, one or two videos about um, how it's supposed to slide, but the builders weren't installing it properly. So you start getting it, it started looking not too good. If it can't expand, now this is saying that it was melted, but in most cases, if the vinyl siding couldn't expand because you hammered the nails all the way in, this is what it looks like, guys. It warped up because it can't expand, it can't move, it can't shift. Um, so you guys can look up the proper installation of vinyl siding, but it started to get a bad name. This right here, and it started to look cheap. A lot of people started correlating vinyl siding with a cheap product. Now, if you're going to install vinyl siding, you had to install vinyl windows. So the only way you could put the siding in is you couldn't just butt right up to it with like your regular wood windows. So you had to have a vinyl windows that would accept the vinyl siding. So the vinyl windows and the vinyl siding had a correlation of being cheap and not a upper end product. So guys, you actually had a whole lot of subdivisions, and I know a subdivision that I build in, they hadn't updated, they have not updated their connotation on vinyl, and they still won't allow vinyl anything to be done into the subdivision. Vinyl windows, vinyl siding, they don't allow that in certain upscale neighborhoods. But so vinyl windows got a bad rap. They did. They got a bad rap. Um, People don't want to use it anymore. But now wood windows, you kind of look at this right here. Um, Pretty much the window that started it all was the wood windows. I was just trying to find a really good wood window here, but what started it all was a really good wood windows. Now, wood windows, you had to paint. You had to paint the interior and the exterior. And you had options. You can paint the exterior of the windows any kind of way you wanted, any color that you wanted to use, and you can paint the interior any color you want to use. And so, but here's the catch on wood windows. You got a lot of mechanisms, and if I could get close enough to one of them, and I know that never happens. This is a double hung window. Let me just see, can I get closer up to it? But there's a lot of mechanisms in those wood windows. You got your hardware that you see right here. You got internal ballast and stuff that allows the windows to go up and down. And let me just see. But when you paint those windows, you start to get paint inside of those items, it makes it hard to let them up. Makes it hard to utilize them. Sometimes you have to, in order for a painter to do a good job and make it look really good, they need to take the hardware off and then they got to put that back on. So that becomes an issue, especially when you paint. Then you got to paint the inside and the outside. The outside, you're going to have to caulk it. It's a lot of work. That's what you had when you had wood windows. And you also had to, you had to repaint those windows every so often. And even if you repaint them, you're not going to stop water from getting in them. Water was going to get in them. Because really on wood windows, there was no flange that allowed the water to move around that window. So that was the thing. But a lot of neighborhoods didn't have a problem with wood windows. Then in order to get out of that, because wood windows was a problem, they rotted out. Now you have places like Window World and things like that. They make a lot of money from replacing all your windows. So the next thing you had is they came out with what you call a aluminum clad window, but this is not the first one. This is kind of the one that they came out with. Let me see if I can get a closer look at this right here, guys. If you can look at this window right here, let me see if we gotta get it right here. This is what they did with the clad window. What they did was they still used wood, okay? They still used the wood. They just surrounded the wood, as you can see, with that cladding, with aluminum clad, to keep it from rotting out. But the problem with this right here, guys, is you have these little joints. You can kind of see right here. There are joints where these windows combine. And everywhere you have a joint is a potential place where water can get in. And if that water gets in, see, they just wrap this wood with aluminum clad. It would rot this window out too. I mean, you still have the windows be able to work, operate, and everything, but you still got rot that's building up inside of here, guys. And that's the issue with the aluminum clad. Not only that, guys, when you're dealing with these type of windows here, they're metal. So you got aluminum, which is metal, and metal actually absorbs, in the heat of the day, it absorbs more heat, okay? Now, guys, we're in a situation where everything is about energy efficiency. So if these windows absorb more heat, that heat is actually transferring to the inside of the house, which actually it creates a whole nother load for your HVAC unit to have to work to try to deal with that heat that's trying to transfer inside of that house. So they absorb more heat, which becomes an issue, which could potentially create a heat load inside of the house, depends on how that heat is moving. So that became an issue with these clad windows. So not only can they, if you get inside these seals and somehow water gets in there, which I think that it's really hard to just stop water 100% from getting inside of these windows. It can get in. I mean, you got so many seals that it can get in there and it's just going to rot that window away. And not only that, you got your heat load. So then, now also, these windows right here were double, almost triple the cost of vinyl windows. Okay, so vinyl windows got the bad rap. And not only that, back in the day, vinyl windows only had like two colors. That was tan and white. So that was a problem too. If you wanted a different color, you couldn't get those colors. And so, all right, so moving forward, they came out with, let me see, I think some of the companies came out with this type of window. I think it's this style. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get this. So this right here is really like this is the same thing as a clad window, but it doesn't have wood on the inside, okay? And I can promise you guys, this window right here is more than what you want to pay for it. And they got these numbers here, but I don't really understand those numbers. But these are, if you go get a window rep to price these out for you, you're gonna pay a pretty penny for that window there. Probably even got a good seal there. I couldn't tell you how much you'd end up paying on that particular window. So they came out with that, which is really, to be honest, which is almost, that cost would probably be unattainable even for a higher end home. I mean, unless you're just doing $1 million home or something. All right, so then, see, can I come up with this next one? So now the next best thing, this is what the vinyl window looks like, guys. So if you, let me see, I think I had a picture right here. Let me see if I can blow it up. I knew I wouldn't be able to blow it up. Well, there we go. I'm always, they got it where you just can't click on a picture and make the picture big. You have to always, let me see, can I find another vinyl window here? If you can kind of, I just want to get a picture of the inside so you guys can see what it looks like on the inside. I'm trying to make it big enough, but it's not, you know something? We can just do it like this. We'll do it live. I'll just take that guy and make that big. There we go. There we go, right there. So you can see, well, we got the best of both worlds. It's not as expensive. I mean, they're not going to be cheap, but the price could be reasonable. It's vinyl. You don't have that wood on the inside, so that you don't have to worry about that being rotted out. This is a double pane. And a lot of time they put the argon gas in here to create a better heat, solar heat gain coefficient. And what that means is that what's happening on the outside doesn't transfer to the inside, so that your unit doesn't have an extra load. So you're not absorbing heat. Cost is okay. No wood, no heat. The only problem is your colors. You know, we moved into a time where a lot of people like to use these dark colors, especially on the exterior. But the dark colors, the old vinyl windows, they had a problem with that fading. So now they're coming out with better products. Well, they have better products you'll see in just a second. They have products now that can hold the color for 30 years. And they would give you a warranty on these things. I don't know if it's 30 years or 20 years or 10 years, but they give warranties now on color and make sure it doesn't fade. So that became good. And then they have certain colors, you know, you can buy them with certain colors. You don't have to have your typical white and tan. So now you're hitting everything. Now you're firing on all cylinders. You're doing really, really well on this right here. So this is what ended up happening. Now, mind you, this is a better looking vinyl window. And I'm going to show you another one in just a second. I just want to make sure I handle all the slides here, which I think I did. All these right here. Okay, so it's a much better product. So now let's look at one today. So let's look at a vinyl window today. This is one I got. And guys, I'm not getting a dime. I'm not getting a dime from this company, okay? They're not paying me anything to look at this right here, to talk about this right here. But let me kind of get back here. There we go, right here. All right, so now we can do it live. All right, here we go. This right here, this is a vinyl window. And you can see it's a dark color. It has a brick mold on it. You can see the brick mold around here, which makes it thicker, looks better. You take the brick, you run the brick all the way up into that brick mold. You have these flanges right here. So if you flash this right here properly, you nail this right here, and this is for new construction, guys, new construction only. So when you put it in, you install them, you put the nails in there, you can take a flash and then put across it. And that keeps the water from getting in there. So if you do it right, the water run around and run around. And all of this right here is plastic up here. So the water run all the way around this window. You don't have to worry about a rot. Not only that, you don't have to worry about painting this thing, guys. You don't have to paint it. It looks like a normal window. And so you don't have to worry about your painters coming here spraying this thing and messing up all the pieces that you're trying to open and shut the window, they just stay away from it. Matter of fact, you kind of want your subcontractors to leave this stuff alone. I really don't like my subs. They don't have to take off any of the mechanisms of the hardware. All that stuff stays, even on the inside. So you can kind of see what it looks like here. If you turn it on the other side. Now, this is the limitation that you have, and I'm going to show you where this is actually, because the inside is going to be, you got to leave it white. You can't paint that. You got to leave it white. And I'm going to show you where this could be one of the downfalls to this window, but it actually is a good part to the window. Okay? It actually works. So let's look at this. So this is what it looks like. It's out the way. I think I zoomed in right here so that you guys can actually see that 0.20. That's the solar heat gain coefficient. The code says that it needs to be, if you're on a 2021 code, it says you need to be at 0.25. Here we're at 0.20. So the lower that number, the better that window is, as far as transferring heat from the outside or energy from the outside to the inside of that house. The lower that number is means that it doesn't allow that to happen. So this right here is a doggone good window right here. You can see the little latch here. Now this is a single hung window. And let me just talk about this right here too. Now you can get single hung or you can get double hung. Now the more hungs you got, if you got more, the more you can move these right here, the more you would allow there to be some kind of infiltration of air. So if you got a single hung window, you have less air infiltration or less places you have to seal than a double hung. Because if you have a double hung, you got to seal the top and the bottom. Unless you go with casement windows, and that's a discussion for another video. But you can kind of see right here what we got here. Right here, guys, this right here are the different colors that you have. So you got about 5 different colors. You know, most of the people now are picking that dark black color. I think that's what the decorators are liking. That's what they enjoy right now. So that's kind of what you got here. Let's look at this right here. So now, this is what my windows look like, and these are aluminum clad windows. And the guys, I bought my, I built my house. Then I built my house maybe about 4 years ago. And I didn't do my research. I just figured that clad windows was the best because it was the most expensive. Well, it got to be better. So I purchased these right here. Notice the brick mold on it is not as thick because I didn't want to spend that additional money. It would have been more money to add a brick mold on it to give it that wood window look. I didn't want to spend that money on that. So I just left it like it is because I saw some of the houses were like that. That would have been another $3,000 or $4,000 to add that to it. So I left it like it was, guys, and it turned out okay. But it's not as thick as the one that we just got finished looking at. You kind of see where it's at. And the guys, they had to paint the inside, which was another headache because we had to take all the internal hardware off of my windows so that they can paint to make it look right. And then when we put it back on, because of the thickness of the paint, they didn't quite get all the way on there right. So they still struggle with closing and creating a seal now. So this is what you deal with. Let's see. This is the inside. So if you look at the inside, this is what it looks like on the inside. This is my house. So I actually painted, all this right here was painted. What do you call it? The painters actually painted the case, the sash and everything. And some of the windows, I mean, I had to work with them. It was just a headache dealing with the painters. This is what it looks like. Notice the color of it. Okay. Okay. But here's the thing, guys. That white color, that the limitation that the vinyl windows have is the limitations on the inside of the house. The color, you stuck with one color on the inside. I think they can do two colors. But you stuck with those colors on the inside of the house. But this is what the decorators are doing now. So this is my house, actually, guys. Let me see. This is what the decorators are doing today, guys. This is how they notice that they're doing everything kind of this clean, white color. So I wouldn't have lost anything had I done my windows, vinyl windows. Look at there. It all looks the same. You put it in there. I wrap some trim around it. Now, mind you, I would have to paint the trim if I put that trim on there. But it looks okay. This is the color that the decorators are doing now. They got this clean look. Back a couple of years ago, they did have that dark windows and dark this and that. It was the new thing. But no one's really doing that stuff anymore. That's not happening anymore. So if you ask me, I actually like them. I like. I think vinyl windows is probably, in my opinion, for the money, it's the way to go. Guys, like, share, subscribe. Once again, I do have a members channel where I'm actually following a house. And guys, today I'm moving away from struggle streaming. I have a couple of different cameras set up, got more light, got a couple of things going on in the background. Once again, you guys like, share, subscribe, and also hit the bell button. And let me see which extra I want to get out of here with. Let's go with this one right here. No, not the color. We're going to go with it.